the current size is different than the size I'm used to. The current size is not mini, but it's smaller. And, some people like it smaller. And some people, like me, don't like it smaller. Or So I got a whole lesson on once upon a time, there wasn't so much demand for the Srimad Bhagavatam. And so it was, the Bhagavatam, that one big volume with the same type of showing the spiritual sky and the Goloka Vrindavana up there and the whole thing. And then some time passed and they wanted to change the cover, so they changed the cover, the same size, but at least the first canto cover became different. Then some time passed, and then, so those were printed in India, and then some time passed, and sets of Srimad Bhagavatam started growing and growing and growing, and so a plan was made to print in Germany in this now size that we get sets of Srimad Bhagavatam available. And some people like it, and some other people don't like it. But it seems there's a substantial number of people that like it. So I'm just doing a little mini survey. This is not a formal, hey, devotees in ISKCON Naperville, what's your preference? Because we have what we have, and that's all we're going to get. It's what they have is what we have. But going into the future, you understand the question? Do you like this somewhat smaller size per volume and then per set, or the larger volume and the significantly larger set? Decide what the cover looks like, the size of the book. Any thoughts that people want to share about this topic? I don't hear a lot of response. Yeah.
Personally, I like smaller set.
The reason?
Because earlier I got one set which had 41 books, all small books. It is easy to carry everywhere, and sometimes I take it to the train and I read it in the train. So if it is very big, then it becomes very
difficult.
My backpack will be very heavy. So
you like the smaller size. Now there's the mini size. Like mini, and then there's the size that's presently available from the BBT, and then there's the side that's the bigger one. And you like the mini. You like the mini?
Yeah.
Okay. That's kind of what Vaisheshika Prabhu said. Yes.
I have both the sets. The big one, I use it to read at home. The small one, I keep it.
Okay. Anyone else? Yeah?
I like the large set, the bigger size, but the Keri Mataji said,
I can hear you. I can hear you.
So I have a large set and I have a mini set.
You do have both also.
So it's one way to encourage people to get 2 copies.
Okay. I didn't think of that one. That's a nice reason.
If you want to travel on a plane or something, it is easy to carry on a plane to read.
The smaller.
Smaller.
Okay. Wow, the party turned wild. Wow. Do you recognize which scream is your child?
My younger one is there.
Okay. It's okay. I mean, you're
Put
partying.
a sound machine.
Okay. They're having a good time. Okay, so chapter 65 from Canto 10, we're in Dwarka with Krishna and Balaram. Shukadeva Goswami is narrating. Oh, best of the Kurus, that's Maharaj Parikshit. Once, Lord Balaram, eager to visit his well-wishing friends, mounted his chariot and traveled to Nanda Gokul. Nanda Gokul means Vrindavan. In this chapter, so it's a little lead into the chapter, Balaram visits Vrindavan, associates with his friends, plays with his gopis, and drags the river Yamuna. Why did Krishna, the great ocean of prema, not go to Braja? So this is all kind of just getting us ready for the message of the chapter. And there's two reasons. One reason is not mentioned here. The one reason that's not mentioned here is hinted at later. But Krishna didn't want to go back to Vrindavan while there were still major demons, because if the major demons knew and Krishna showed his affection for the residents of Vrindavan, then the demons would go and harass the resident of Vrindavan. So he had to eliminate the demons first, and then he went back. Then here's a second reason. The Yadus prevented him. The gopis are famous for their pure ecstatic love, and Krishna's parents have intense love for him. So if he goes back to Vrindavan, finished. Krishna is controlled by pure love, so if he goes to see the Brajbasis, how will he be able to leave them and come back to us? With this in mind, the Yadus prevented Krishna from going, knowing that he becomes subservient to the pastimes in which he reciprocates the ever-increasing love of the Brajbasis. Very nice painting. Krishna's on the balcony of one of his palaces in Dwarka, and his mind is filled with the thought of the Brajbasis. So in the painting, it's Nanda and Yashoda in the front, and a number of gopis behind Nanda and Yashoda, and there's probably a bunch of others, like some cowherd boys and so forth, because he has such love for them. And we heard how much love he has for them in the previous discussions. But then neither should Baladev, this is all Vishwanath, the Rasika Bhakta, Vishwanath, helping us understand the rasa aspect. Neither should Baladev be able to leave his brother Krishna, who is dearer to him than his own life. Solution. This argument is settled by saying that Balaram had such eagerness, utkanta, that his discrimination and sense control disappeared. That's a good answer. And here's another commentary, different way of expressing. Prevented by Vasudeva and Devaki to go to Vraja, Krishna shared his heart's feelings with Balaram, remembering their joyful Harika pastimes with the gopis, and encouraged Balaram to similarly satisfy younger gopis while there. So the The Horika pastime is the pastime with Shankachuta. Shoo. Your daughter's loud. Something I've learned about parents. When a child screams, the mother or father knows it's their child. All the other mothers or fathers, they're calm because it's not their child. But they know the scream of their child and they immediately run to deal with the scream. And this isn't like scream, it's just partying and
Excited to see their friends more.
yeah, they're having a great time. I'm sure it's big space and they can romp around and you recognize that one? That scream?
My mother-in-law's going in there.
Yeah, that's why. Okay. Okay. Okay, so the Harika pastime, it's just mention of it here, but, little expanding of that mention. It's Shankachuta. The pastime with Shankachuta, this is while Krishna and Balaram were in Vrindavan and they were engaged with gopis, and Shankachuta was sent They're going to open the door again, no? Yes. Close the door. Thank you very much. Shankachuta was sent by Kamsa, and he brazened, etc., etc. And so the occasion was the holy festival, or the Horika festival. So that's the reference, because Krishna and Balaram were both with gopis. Remembering their joyful Horika pastimes with the gopis, and Krishna encouraged Balaram to similarly satisfy younger gopis while there. Younger gopis indicating his own set of gopis. He gave consent to Balaram to go alone, enter wearing cowherd attire, carrying a message for various devotees by name. This becomes important, because peacemaker Balaram is going to carry Krishna's message by name, along with the promise that he would personally come after some time. Now we're going to hear, they've said they got many promises and they don't believe him anymore, because he doesn't come. He promises and then he doesn't come. He promises, he doesn't come. Having long suffered anxiety of separation, the cowherd men and their wives embraced Balaram. So he's already made it to Vrindavan, all the way from Dwarka. So it's now the reception. The Lord then offered respects to his parents, and they joyfully greeted him with prayers. Now it says parents, but it's really his mother. Yes? Because Vasudeva is not in Vrindavan. Vasudeva is in Dwarka. But Rohini is in Vrindavan. So here we go. Nanda and Yashoda prayed. They're praying to their son. Oh, descendant of may you and your younger brother Krishna ever protect us. So their sense is a little bit different than when they were little boys. Krishna's, besides, some years have passed, he's done many, many, many things in Mathura, like KO of Kamsa and so many other things in dealing with Jarasandha in Mathura and so many things. His power is acknowledged. And then Dwarka, and his power is being acknowledged. So it's an adjustment, somewhat of an adjustment of their understanding of who he is. But you notice there's a little asterisk right after Krishna, your younger brother Krishna, ever protect us. So they treated Balaram like their elder son. They treated him like their son. Although Rohini was the mother and Balaram was her son, the Yashoda and Nanda, they treated Balaram with that special affection, like a son. So your younger brother, saying this, they raised Balaram onto their laps. Now that's another awkward situation, because Balaram is there with the peacock feathers in his hair, and he's whitish like milk, and there's Nanda embracing him and moistened him with tears from their eyes. So put them in their laps. He's a big fellow. Put them on their lap. This shows, so the asterisk is, Nanda had a deep affection for Vasudeva. Now let's go back. What's the relationship between Nanda and Vasudeva? They were like brothers. They weren't biological brothers, but they were like brothers. And they had affection for each other, like, cultured people have affection for each other, like brothers. So Nanda had profound affection for Vasudeva. Knowing that Balaram was Vasudeva's son, Nanda considered Balaram to be his own, with intense affection as a father. Interesting. Nanda, it's understood Krishna hasn't come yet because there's demons remaining to be killed. So what demons are remaining for Krishna to kill before he returns to be with us again? So there's this dialogue going on back and forth. Balaram gives Shishupal, the king of Kashi, Pondraka, Shalva, Jarasandha, Dvidvida, Dantavakra, and Vidurata. There's not a long explanation, but that's a short exchange between them. And then the culture aspect. Lord Balaram paid proper respects to the elder cowherd men. So first, it's very similar to the sequence of what happened when Uddhava visited. He first went to the house of Nanda and Yashoda, and then to the elder cowherd men. Then the younger ones all greeted him respectfully. So the culture is who's offering respect to whom. He met them all with smiles, handshakes, and so on, dealing personally with each one according to age, degree of friendship, and family relationship. Then, after resting, the Lord accepted a comfortable seat, and they all gathered around him, with voices faltering out of love for him. Those cowherds who had dedicated everything to the lotus-eyed Krishna asked about the health of their dear ones in Dwarka, and Balaram in turn asked about the cowherds' welfare. So the social etiquettes are being observed. And he has a purpose. Krishna can't come. Krishna asked him to go in his stead. So the cowherd men have this nice dialogue. Oh, Rama, are all our relatives doing well? And Rama, do all of you with your wives and children still remember us? They're not insecure, it's churning the topic of loving exchange. It is our great fortune that sinful Kamsa has been killed and our dear relatives have been freed. And it is also our good fortune that our relatives have killed and defeated their enemies and found complete security in a great fortress, referring to Dwarka. After paying respects to all the elders, Balaram visited each and every home of his childhood cowherd friends. However, his heart being full of separation from Krishna, as were the hearts of the cowherd boys, he could only gaze at the cows both morning and night. He could not bear the absence of Krishna, thus no herding of cows could take place. So try to appreciate the mood. I mean, he's come with a mission on Krishna's behalf to give his association. And there he is, and he's remembering the sweet, loving pastimes of his childhood here in Vrindavan. And he's internally, at least, he's beside himself with discomfort. Shukadev Goswami is narrating, honoring Lord Balaram because they had attained his personal audience, the young gopis smiled. Because remember, that's what Krishna said, give association to the young gopis. So, which means a different set of gopis than Krishna's gopis. And they asked him, is Krishna the darling of the city women living happily? Ho, ho, ho. Vishwanath is churning the rasa. The smiling of the gopis was a sign of their unmada, transcendental madness in prema. Otherwise, how would it be possible for such extremely shy girls suffering such intense pain of separation from Krishna to smile in front of Baladev? They're in a state of madness. And they see Balaram, they're thinking of Krishna. Understanding that this was a sign of their Mahabhava, Balaram gave them great respect. Balaram honored them with his affectionate glance, Rama Sandarshana, because he understood that these gopis were dearly beloved devotees of Krishna and were filled with pure love for his younger brother. So Nanda Jasoda, the elders, then his cowherd boyfriends, now come the young gopis, and the exchange with each according to their positions. Jiva Goswami explains the gopis' smiles and laughter in a different way. Krishna vowed that he would return to Braja. When only Balaram returned and was respectful, in grief, they experienced the greatest pain, but expressed it as loud laughter. Unmada, madness of love, and nervous laughter. They didn't know what to do, so they just laughed or cried. Does he remember his family members, especially his father and mother? Because, hint, does he remember us? Do you think he will ever come back even once to see his mother? And does mighty armed Krishna remember the service we always did for him? So the gopis are asking, there's this exchange back and forth. Is Krishna happy there in Dwarka? Balaram, how could Krishna be happy being separated from you? The gopis have an answer. Krishna is enjoying with many beautiful women in the city. So how could he be suffering any unhappiness of separation from us village girls? Certainly he must be happy. What happened? For Krishna's sake, O descendant of Dashara, we abandoned our mothers, fathers, brothers, husbands, children, and sisters, even though these family relations are difficult to give up. But now, O Lord, that same Krishna has suddenly abandoned us and gone away, breaking off all affectionate ties with us. And yet, how could any woman fail to trust his promises? It's a beautiful painting, another Pushkar painting with the colorfulness of Pushkar's style. And Krishna's in their thoughts. And some this, and some that, and some the other, and Krishna's in their thoughts. Balaram said, but most beloved gopis of Krishna, so these are Krishna's gopis, and shortly it's going to be his own. Krishna is full of love for you and always remembers you. Denying this, the gopis replied, no, we do not have faith in Krishna's love, since he rejected us, who were solely devoted to him. They expressed this in a verse and a half. The gopis continued, though we gave up everything for Krishna, he gave us up immediately and left. Balaram, well, why didn't you do something to prevent him? Why didn't you go with him? Krishna just tore our bonds of love to shreds like a blade of grass and left. Therefore tell us, what should we have done? Balaram's a peacemaker, remember? Since you are maintaining your lives without him, you also must have broken your ties of love for him. Not at all. By his words, I will return to you, repeatedly sent messages through messengers. Krishna retied the fetters of love even after they were broken. Again, he took hold of our life heirs as they were about to leave us and reestablish them. Balaram, if you believe Krishna will return, then why are you so disturbed? No, this is not correct. Since even now Krishna still has not come, we have concluded that whatever he said was false. Why did you believe when he said he would come in the first place? How could unintelligent, straightforward women like us not believe his words? How can intelligent city women possibly trust the words of one whose heart is so unsteady and is so ungrateful? Now notice this is the bumblebee by Radharani's hand. This is Radharani talking in madness to the bumblebee, to the painting, and they're talking in madness to Balaram. They must believe him because he speaks so wonderfully, and also because his beautiful smiling glances arouse their lust. Why bother talking about him, dear Gopi? Please talk of something else. If he passes his time without us, then we shall similarly pass hours without him. But they can't. While speaking these words, the young cowherd women remembered Lord Shauri's laughter, his pleasing conversations with them, his attractive glances, his style of walking, and his loving embraces. Thus they began to cry. So Balaram got to do something. The Supreme Lord Balaram, the attractor of all, being expert at various kinds of conciliation, because this is, you know this, you should know this about Balaram. He likes being the mediator. He did this time and again. Expert at various kinds of conciliation, consoled the gopis by relaying to them the confidential messages Lord Krishna had sent with him. These messages deeply touched the gopis' hearts. From Vishnu Purana, same topic. Lord Balaram consoled the gopis by giving them Lord Krishna's most charming messages, which expressed sweet conciliation, which were inspired by his pure love for them, and which were without a tinge of pride. Vishnu Purana. He consoled them with Krishna's messages because they entered into these messages, which melted their hearts. Can anyone think of an example or two or three or five where Balaram served as the conciliator?
Rukmini.
Yeah.
Rukmini and Rukmini and Krishna exchange between them. Krishna was going to kill Rukmini, and Balaram helped him spare his life.
Yeah. Yeah. Balaram's good. Here's another one. You recognize the painting. That the occasion is when Samba, who is the son of Jambavati, kidnapped Lakshmana from her Swayamvar ceremony. And there was a big hubbub, and they captured Samba, and the message came back to Ugrasena in Dwarka, and they wanted to do battle with this is before Kurukshetra. They wanted to do battle with all these warriors in Hastinapur. And Balaram said, I'll take care of it. So he came, and they mistreated him. So he took his plow and started pulling his plow to drag the whole city of Hastinapur into the Ganges. Whoa. That was an interesting conciliatory maneuver, wasn't it? So they made amends. Sridhar Swami comments about this role of Balaram. Balaram first consoled them with scriptural teachings. Then he praised them to remove their despondency. Then he described Krishna's mercy directed to them. He described with regret various events which delayed Krishna from returning. Then he promised to bring Krishna back with a believable oath. Then he frightened them by saying that Krishna, who held them dearer than 1,000,000 of his lives, would suffer intense grief on hearing of their crying. He's playing their heartstrings, and it worked. Knowing Krishna's heart, I have come to Vraja. Knowing his heart deeply, I speak to you with consoling words. If I knew he was indifferent, I would not be able to speak to you, nor would I be satisfied with him. So, they know the intimacy between Balaram and Krishna, so his words they're entering. They're pain-filled hearts. It should be understood that Krishna dispatched Baladev and Uddhava with his intimate messages. This is in the plural, Sandeshayar. We'll hear the importance of that plural, because they were both his trusted friends. Sakya Bhav, without consideration of other sentiments of servitude, Dasya Bhav, and parental love. So the feature, this is mixed rasas. Some of you like reading Nectar Devotion, probably. And there's principal rasas and there's mixing of those principal rasas. So what's the rasa of Uddhava? He's Krishna's dear friend. But in addition to Krishna's dear friend, he has another mood, Uddhava has another mood of being servant. So servant plus dear friend. It's not incompatible rasa. Or Balaram. Balaram is Krishna's dear friend. But he's also the elder brother. So he has some kind of protective mood towards Krishna, or Vatsalya Bhav. But Krishna dispatched on the sentiment or the relationship of being an intimate friend, both of them. Vishwanath explains, in the use of the plural form of Sandeshayar indicates that Krishna sent many messages, not one. Some messages instructed the gopis in transcendental knowledge. Some were sweet and apologetic. Some were dignified. Being heartfelt, Krishna's messages could not be revealed publicly because of their confidential nature. So Shukadev Goswami, he may very well know what the message is included, but he doesn't say it because it's confidential. And so it shall remain confidential. Again, Vishwanath, he's really involved in taking topics of Krishna Katha, and looking at it through the lens of rasa. It's like, it's him. It's what he does. He's very good. Balaram boldly exclaimed, "Dear gopis, now that I have consoled you, I will go to Dwarka and bring Krishna here by force. I am not exclusively under Krishna's control like Uddhava." In this way, Balaram displayed his expertise in conciliation. Hearing this, the gopis experienced that they had attained Krishna. "We accept your words that you will bring Krishna." All these exchanges were with Krishna's gopis with whom he performed rasa dance. So, mother, father, elders, his friends, each, how many cowherd boy friends are there? We heard Asankyataha. He spent a substantial time in Vrindavan. And now he's going to fulfill another instruction that Krishna gave, and that is younger gopis, besides Krishna's gopis. 2 months. During the nights, he gave his cowherd girlfriends conjugal pleasure. So there he is doing his rasa dance. It's not Krishna, but it's full moon night. It says he made it such that it was a full moon night every night. These were not the same gopis as Krishna's gopis. In the company of numerous women, Balaram enjoyed in a garden by the Yamuna River. This garden was bathed by the rays of the full moon and caressed by breezes bearing the fragrance of night blooming lotuses. Now, those of you that know a little bit about lotuses don't bloom at night. When the sun rises, the lotus opens. When the sun sets, the lotus closes. There's this nice example of bees being caught inside the petals of the lotus because at night, when the sun sets, the lotus closes. And so the comparison is those who are pursuing the nectar of Krishna's lotus feet, they get caught in the nectar of Krishna's lotus feet, like the lotus that closes at night. The bees are captured. But this is night blooming lotuses. Full moon. By Balaram's will, the nights always had a full moon. Then, so they're engaged in their dancing by the side of the river Jamuna in a special garden that Balaram liked especially. Then comes the Varuni liquor. So what's Varuni liquor? Some explanation. It's come from a tree hollow, and it has a certain fragrance, and it's a type of nectar very similar to the nectar of the demigods. So Balaram likes Varuni. But many of you know Balaram had 2 wives. We'll come across this. The wind carried to Balaram the fragrance of the flood of sweet liquor, and when he smelled it, he went to the tree. There, he and his female companions drank. They got a little tipsy. In fact, there's a deity in one of the it's said that Vajranabha, the great grandson of Krishna, established 10 deities, and one of those deities in the southern part of, we remember visiting this place where this deity is, and there's the deity of Balaram, and Balaram's got Varuni beverage in his hand, and not a plow. Varuni beverage. And these are his 2 consorts, Varuni and Revati. So dancing, and as the Gandharvas sang his glories, Lord Balaram enjoyed. Within the brilliant circle of young women, he appeared just like Indra's elephant, tipsy, intoxicated elephant. The lordly Airavata enjoying in the company of she-elephants. At that time, cattle drums resounded in the sky. Gandharvas joyfully rained flowers, and the sages praised Lord Balaram's heroic deeds. It's a party every night for 2 months. As his deeds were sung, Lord Hala Yudha. What's Hala mean? That's his plow. And Yudha means battle. So he would sometimes use his battle for plowing the fields, and sometimes he used it for battle. He'd smack people with his hala. He wandered as if inebriated among the various forests with his girlfriends. His eyes rolled from the effects of the liquor. It's a pastime, don't worry. The Lord then summoned the Yamuna river. There she is. So that he could play in her waters. But she disregarded his command, thinking he was drunk. This angered Balaram, and he began dragging the river with the tip of his plow. This is similar to when he went to Hastinapur, and they didn't respond. In fact, they sent armies to harass him. Then he used his plow for dragging the whole city of Hastinapur. So this is dragging the whole of Jamuna. O sinful one, disrespecting me, you do not come when I call you, but rather move only on your own whim. Therefore, the tip of my plow, I shall bring you here in 100 streams. And she started trembling in various paintings of the scene. Thus scolded by the Lord, O king, Shukadeva is narrating, the frightened river goddess Yamuna came and fell at the feet of Sri Balaram, the beloved descendant of Yadu. Trembling, she spoke to him the following words. He's listening. Jiva Goswami explains who she is. I'll read it twice because it's a little complicated. The goddess who appeared before Lord Balaram, is an expansion or shadow of Srimati Kalindi, one of Lord Krishna's queens in Dwarka. She is his vibhuti. Her husband is the ocean. What? Could you do that again? Yeah, let's do it again. I had to read it 3 times. The first part is simple. She's an expansion or shadow of Kalindi. Okay. One of Krishna's queens in Dwarka is Kalindi. No problem. She's her expansion. She is his vibhuti. So what's a vibhuti? Like there's a whole chapter in the Bhagavad Gita, Vibhuti Yoga, the opulences of the Absolute. So what's a vibhuti? It's a representation of some opulence of the personality of Godhead. So there's his 6 principal bhagas, and he's Bhagavan, but he also has vibhutis. And they're lesser, but they're opulences of vibhuti. So she, this Yamuna that came before him, or the expansion of his queen, Kalindi, came before him. And she has a husband, Samudra. Pretty intricate, huh? Yamuna comes in person. This is a similar painting, BBT painting, falling at the lotus feet of Lord Balaram, with her head bowed. Here's another more current BBT painting. This is the European version. Rama, Rama, O mighty armed one, I know nothing of your prowess with a single portion of yourself. Ekanksenas, because Krishna uses the same language, doesn't he? At the end of the Vibhuti Yoga chapter, Ekanksenas Stato Jagat, but a single fraction myself would pervade and support the entire universe. With a single portion of yourself, you hold up the earth as Shesha. And Shesha, the expansion of Balaram, O Lord of the universe. So there's a lot of connection between the message of Bhagavad Gita and the message here, but also, the relationship between expansions of Krishna and his vibhutis that are also expansions of Krishna or shadows of the expansions of Krishna, etc. So there he is, dragging. And she is making an offering of herself. O soul of the universe, I didn't understand your position as the supreme Godhead. Mahasankarshana. I think the next time I do this, I'm going to spend some time going into commentaries and expanding on, because there's different terminologies being applied to the same person by, very qualified personality. Yamuna certainly knows these terminologies, and we don't necessarily know them the same way. But Mahasankarshan, so there's Sankarshan, and there's Mahasankarshan. And Mahasankarshan is in the spiritual sky. And then there's Sankarshan that in the Chaturvyuha expansions, in the first and the second quadruple expansion. It gets really complicated. You have to read carefully in Chaitanya Charitamrita to sort through it all. But Mahasankarshan that's Balaram in the spiritual world. Your position as the Supreme Godhead, Mahasankarshana. But now I have surrendered unto you. You're always kind to your devotees. And he is. And so he accepts. My Lord, please release me. So he's pulling the river by his plow, and she's submitting to him, please release me. And so he does. Thereupon Lord Balaram released the Yamuna, and like the king of the elephants, with his entourage of she-elephants, he entered the river's water with his female companions. So they're splashing around in the river after they're dancing and getting a little tipsy. Lord Balaram played in the water to his full satisfaction. When he came out, Goddess Kanti, who is another personality, she's Lakshmi, the goddess of fortune, the wife of Sankarshan of the second Vyuha. Mahasankarshan, Sankarshan, and the second Sankarshan. Anybody puzzled? A little bit? Mahasankarshan. So that's another name for Balaram. Mahasankarshan. And then in the spiritual world, there's the first Chaturvyuha, and one of those Chaturvyuha expansions is Balaram. And then there's the forms in Vaikuntha with a second Chaturvyuha. So Lakshmi from the second Chaturvyuha, the wife of Sankarshan of the second Chaturvyuha, this Vaikuntha feature here in Vrindavan, presented him with blue garments. So she has opulences, the goddess of fortune. Garments, his favorite color, precious ornaments, and a brilliant necklace. So he's coming out of the water, and she's taking care of providing him with everything he needs. Same pastime being described in Harivamsa. O Lord, please accept as divine ornaments for your ears this single gold earring studded with diamonds and this primeval lotus called Padma. Krishna accepted them, for this act of adornment is traditional. These are standard items of paraphernalia that Krishna likes. Same? Okay.
Not mine.
You were here when we were sharing. When a child screams, the mother or father, they know. And sometimes the mother or father gets up because it's the kind of scream that says you got to tend to it. But, all the other parents just, they don't respond because it's not their child screaming. Everyone knows. And those of us that don't have children, it's like, Balaram dressed himself in the blue garments and put on the gold necklace. Anointed with fragrances and beautifully adorned, he appeared as resplendent as Indra's royal elephant. Thus, for Lord Balaram, all the nights passed like a single night, and he enjoyed in Vraja, his mind enchanted by the exquisite charm and beauty of Vraja's young ladies. Now we're closing in on the end of this chapter. So now Balaram is 2 months are up, and he's returning to Dwarka, and he's going to right away check in with Krishna, but Krishna's going to check in with him. This is from Harivamsa. Balaram, still wearing a traveler's dress, beautiful with a new garland on his chest, embraced Krishna. Seeing Balaram coming quickly, Krishna rose and offered him an excellent seat. Seeing him, Krishna asked him about the welfare of all his friends and the cows. Balaram answered his brother, who spoke sweetly, "O Krishna, all those for whose good health you desire are fine." Unquote. Then the two spoke on various subjects that are confidential, so they were not given. But they spoke on former topics in front of Vasudeva. So Vasudeva knows things that Nanda and Yasoda don't know. So they can share before Vasudeva what their activities were in Vrindavan together, and it's not a problem for Vasudeva. Because they were in the assembly, general questions and answers were given. In private, Krishna asked about his gopis. You'll fill in the blank. Like he's, you remember that nice painting? He's up on a rooftop in Dwarka, and he's looking out over the majesty and the opulence of Dwarka, and his mind is on Vrindavan. Moment by moment, his mind is on Vrindavan. And now Balaram has just come back from Vrindavan. And he's asking about his gopis from the one who was just there. So the heart and the mind of Krishna and Balaram, even when they're not in Vrindavan, is Vrindavan. And it's not so dissimilar. There's dissimilarity, but not so dissimilar from Chaitanya Mahaprabhu residing in Puri, where there's opulence, pining for being in Vrindavan and being with Krishna in Vrindavan and staying in a mood of separation. You see the parallel. Gaura Leela and Krishna Leela. And of course there's a pastime involved in his residing in Puri that was the binding request of his mother. That's it's so much. There's layers and layers and layers. But rasa is the key to understand the deepest part. So there's the external part, and then here's Krishna in Dwarka. This is the chapters go on in Canto 10, but even he's in Dwarka doing what he does in Dwarka. And part of what he does in Dwarka is dealing with demons. And other things, of course, but dealing with demons. And then according to Rupa Goswami, when the final demon was killed, because there was a list of demons still remaining to be killed, Jiva Goswami describes like this, that after Krishna killed Dantavakra, which was just outside the city of Mathura, there's a gate in Mathura still bearing his name. And from that event of killing Dantavakra, Krishna entered Vrindavan. He fulfilled his promise. But all the while, he's not fulfilling his promise, although he's making promises for different reasons. But he's feeling this, so it's a feature of love and separation. By circumstance or whatever. It's profound. Okay, so let's see if there's some. This is a nice assembly place. Turn around, stand up and look around. It's like packed. But a big open space. Real nice. Real nice. Yeah, Mukunda.
Maharaj, we've heard that Balaram had his own gopis and he enjoyed in Vrindavan after he came. And I'm trying to understand, like, how does Balaram, like the fact that Balaram has his own gopis, the fact that he's enjoying, how is that pleasing to Krishna exactly?
Oh, why not? I mean, let's step back. Krishna's the source of everything. That's really simple. So there's part of everything is his gopis, and part of everything is those who Krishna didn't have the opportunity, and it's Krishna's happiness is his devotees' happiness. So those gopis get Balaram's association, and that brings Krishna happiness. And Balaram doing this not, in a greedy or lusty sense, but for the pleasure of Krishna. It gives Balaram pleasure, gives the gopis pleasure, gives Krishna pleasure. Let's take a service that you, or somebody else, some service that somebody else likes. Somebody might be really like super pujari, and when they see the way that a certain deity is dressed and ornamented and so forth and so on at big festivals, it's a delight. We heard yesterday, we were hearing about Gopal Bhatta, and Bhugarva Goswami would come, the intimate associate of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu would come and just watch him, just sit and watch him. And the mood of love with which Gopal Bhatta worshipped his deities. 11 of them are Shalagam Shilas, but they love, and of course Radharaman. But he was enjoying. Gopal Bhatta is the one doing the dressing, but he was enjoying Gopal Bhatta doing the dressing, or bathing and serving and everything else. Or your service, kirtan. Someone's having a wonderful kirtan. Now, how is that bringing you enjoyment? Because it's not for the kirtan performer, for Krishna, it's not as selfish. It's a loving. The happiness of a beloved is the happiness of the one who has that love for the beloved, and different kinds of love. Not only conjugal love, but all kinds of love. And his happiness is their happiness. It's a nice question. It's nice meditation. Premananda all the way in the back.
why is this a killing of Dandavakra? Is that considered as something very significant event and described in relationship with Krishna entering back to Vrindavan?
Yeah. So what's you're making a statement or asking a question?
Yeah, I mean, you are telling.
Shishupal and Dantavakra were the two, Jai and Vijay, etc., etc. So it's not Kamsa, it's Shishupal and Dantavakra. So that was it. That was the last of the Jarasandha and Shalva and all the other fellows. But he was the last.
Yeah, I read in Shivarama Swami's book, he was specifically telling that killing of Dandavakra is that point where Krishna finally returned back to Vrindavan.
I said the same. Yes. It's well known. It's well documented. That's what Krishna did. But he was waiting. He didn't want... Okay? Some pass the microphone up. She's got her hand up. Go ahead.
Maharaj, we all know that Lord Balaram is immediate expansion of Lord Krishna. In one of the slide, you're explaining like Kalindi, Lord Balaram is the shadow of Kalindi.
No, not Balaram is.
Oh, Kalindi is the shadow of.
No, the Yamuna that came from the river.
Sorry, maybe I missed first half an hour. So
Okay. You okay now?
no, actually, I because
Krishna had a queen. Well, he had a number of queens, and one of those number of queens, there was principal queens, and then there's 16,100. So 8 principal. She was one of the 8 principal. And there, there's a description of Krishna accepting her as, so she's one of Krishna's principal queens. And then she, according to what we just read, I can only explain because how do I know anything? But she, this Yamuna, is not the same as the Yamuna personified. It's another personality emerged from the river Yamuna, who is an expansion or a shadow of one of Krishna's queens. Is that okay?
yeah. Yes.
Yeah, behind you.
Hare Krishna Maharaj. My
You got to
question,
speak slowly. You're a fast talker. I can tell.
my question is, why is there a significance to mention that she is shadow of Kalindi?
Their significance is that's who she is. It's to help us not mistake the mistaken idea that Krishna, that Balaram is chastising the river Yamuna. She emerged from the river Yamuna, but she's not the river Yamuna. That's the significance. So it's just identifying who she really is.
Is it okay if I ask one more question?
Sure.
I was just wondering, like after killing of Kamsa, the Rohini Devi doesn't really have any threat to go back to Vasudeva. Why was she still staying away from Balaram and feeling that separation?
Just do it again. How is what?
After Kamsa was killed,
After Kamsa was killed.
there is no threat to Rohini
There's
Devi.
no threat to do what?
Rohini Devi, Balaram's mom.
Oh, okay. Rohini, okay.
Yeah, why is she choosing to stay away from Balaram, like in Vrindavan?
Well, she's married, right? Who's her husband?
Well, I thought
Vasudeva.
Yeah.
Vasudeva is her husband. So, is a lady going to go with her son, or a lady's going to go with her husband?
Vasudeva was in Dwaraka.
Yeah, that's right. Vasudeva was in Dwaraka. So where do you think his wife was?
Oh, she was in Dwaraka too. Okay. I assumed that she was in Vrindavana, as you were saying, like he offered respects to parents and then it's actually one parent. Thank you.
Others? Jamuna Jivana.
Shri Radhika is asking.
From the altar at the temple.
I don't know how she types while offering incense. In consoling the gopis, Lord Balaram makes some definitive promises to them that don't apparently seem to have been fulfilled in the near future, such as he would bring Krishna back.
Yeah.
How does
He didn't do that. He made a promise that he didn't fulfill. That's her question.
she's asking, I would assume that these are not just fake promises for the sake of diffusing the situation or a conflict avoidant tactic, but Lord Balaram is stretching the truth simply to enhance rasa. Is that correct?
Yes, and plus, the arrangement of Krishna returning, yes, it was connected to the killing of Dantavakra. And was Balaram a factor in Krishna returning to Vraja, fulfilling his promise? So there may be in this case, or maybe it's some other case, you make a promise to somebody, and there may be some obstacles, and you have to deal with those obstacles before you can fulfill that promise to that somebody. He didn't lie. He wasn't just cute. Yes, it's a rasa issue, but it's a commitment, and how it was fulfilled. He didn't say how. But his influence is an important influencer. You got a magic basement. Okay. You have something else? You got a microphone too.
The personality who came out of Yamuna river is some other personality. Is that Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur comment?
Yes. Excuse me. No, excuse me. Let me go back. It might have been Jiva Goswami. Let me go back. Jiva Goswami. I'll read it again. I read it several times. We'll read it again. The goddess who appeared before Lord Balaram is an expansion or shadow of Srimati Kalindi, one of Krishna's queens in Dwarka. She is his vibhuti, Krishna's vibhuti. So Krishna has a queen, but Krishna also has vibhutis. Her husband is the ocean. Okay?
Hare Krishna, Guru Maharaj.
Yeah, go ahead. No, go ahead. Go ahead. You got the microphone.
Lord Balaram represents spiritual strength.
He not represents, he is.
And what is the best mood and prayers that we can offer to Lord Balaram that he brings closer to Krishna and also preserves the spiritual strength, Maharaj?
Please give me the strength so that I can reach Krishna. guess, this is a nice meditation because coming up is Balaram Jayanti. And it's a nice meditation. And Balaram Jayanti comes conveniently or purposely or deliberately before Krishna Janmashtami. He appears as the 7th, not the 8th. So he paves the way. So there are prayers specific to Lord Balaram. And you want to know the best. I'm just giving an essence, not like the eloquent verses of composers of verses, but please give me the strength so that I have the capacity to reach Krishna, because without spiritual strength, without spiritual strength, there's a statement without strength, and some persons who are, Prabhupada calls them rascals, they do this bodybuilding thing because you have to have strength. But it has nothing to do with physical strength. Spiritual strength.
Thank you, Maharaj.
Guru Maharaj, I was thinking about this Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakura's churning of that discussion going back and forth between Lord Balaram and gopis. I was thinking they have transcendental feelings, but at our level, one way is when we have some spiritual desires and apparently they're not manifesting or getting fulfilled. One way is, okay, Krishna, whatever you would like, I'll just accept it.
But, that spiritual desire doesn't just evaporate.
Yeah, I was just seeing them. They could just say, okay, fine, we will be absorbed in Krishna wherever he is. They're not...
That's you're saying the same thing again. And the answer is, yeah, that's a possibility. But they want to be with Krishna in loving moods. Having tasted that loving mood, they want again and again, and it's insatiable. It's eternal. Wow, it's wild down there. Yes, Jamuna Jivana.
Maharaj, if you'll permit, I wanted to offer a comment. As I've been studying, or when I studied this section of the Bhagavatam, something that surfaced for me was how Lord Balaram, like we see in this case, it seems like he's apparently arrogant in dealing with Kalindi, or shadow of Kalindi.
Not getting what I want, and I'll show you who's powerful.
We see in the similar sort of sections, we see him dealing with Rukmi in the chess match. He killed Rukmi because Rukmi was jeering at him about the game.
Yeah.
And then also he dealt with Rumharshan. And he just killed him with the kusha grass because he didn't stand up when he walked into the assembly.
But there's background to all of this. Each event has a background.
What I observed or what I noticed or appreciated is, in each case, he sensed pride and he did not like it in each one of those cases, as I understand it. And the nature of the spiritual master, who's a representative of Balaram, helps us to overcome that difficulty. It may seem like the dealing is arrogant, when in reality, it's a blessing. That's what I wanted to share.
Dvidvida is another example. Dhenukasura is another example. Later we're going to hear about Dhenukasura. Okay. Srila Prabhupada ki